Join us now as we enter into our worship moment, our worship hour, and we thank the Heavenly Host for being here this afternoon that we might deliver a message that will encourage individuals who are faced with this virus across the United States. We want to let you know that you must be faithful and have the faith unto death. Join us now as we go into our hymn singing, and join us, and if you can, we'd like for you to join in with us. Join in with us now. Put your hands together in your home. Stomp your feet down because we are climbing high mountain, trying to get home. Yes, our road, get a little rugged. Watching us by way of YouTube. Come on. Come on. Don't that sound good? Wasn't that lifting your spirit? Yes, we are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'd like to call our attention this afternoon to the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 8 through 10. And it reads as follows: Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. These words are part of the testimony of a true witness to the church there in Smyrna. This church represents the Christians during the 10 years rule of Diocletian. During his rule, during 301 to 313. For one to profess to be a Christian during that period meant imprisonment, and sometime eventually death. During the time of Roman emperor, During that time, if you didn't comply with the rules and the regulations that was given down from the emperor, your opportunities were taken from you. For one to profess Christianity meant again, eventually, death could overshadow them. The context here of this text shows here that the capital of our salvation and the captain of our salvation known and recognized the faithful of the saints. It is our faithfulness that we face here some bitter persecution and in many instances, as our foe stated, death. I know thy works and thy tribulation and thy poverty. Here it is, he, God, know what go on in our lives. He know what goes on in and around us. This virus that we are facing, it is not that God is not aware of it, but it is a test of our faith to see how we will endure hard times and tribulation. The 139th Psalm declare unto us that God knows all. He knows our uprising and he knows our downfalling. He knows our tomorrow. He even knows the hairs upon our head. Here it is now. He is fully aware of our circumstances. He's fully aware of our situation. His people, that is God's people, is to live and to work and to show a sacrificial love for him in our suffering, even unto death. The faithful now even are willing to die unto death. Notice the scripture said unto, not until, but unto death. Until we just messing around until hard times and tribulation come, and in the face of death, we run away. But here it is, he said, unto death, meaning in the face, in the instant. We walk in death. We don't run from death unto death and believe that God will bring us through. We are in the shadow of death. We are washing our hands more than ever. We're going out of our house with masks on our face. We're going to and fro. We are living in fear. We're living in panic. But here it is. John said we must be faithful unto death. Be thou faithful, and we will receive the crown of life. Meaning of the word faithful now, in this instance of the context, it is faithfulness implied of us being steadfast. It implies that we be persistent, not to deviate from the course that God has set before us. So many of us has deviated from the course that God once set before us. And I believe that is the problem that we are dealing with today, that we are deviated from whom we say that we are. The one that brought us from a mighty long ways, seemingly we have deviated from him and put other substance and things in his place. He said in the commandments that we should have no other God before thee. And here it is, seemingly in America, is not being faithful because she have other gods now that seemingly she is worshiping. Looking unto other countries, desiring what they have instead of desiring what God has placed before us. John here tells us to be steadfast. John tells us to be persistent. Not only does he tell us to be persistent, but he tells us to be consistent, never deviating from what God has placed before us. Take, for instance, here's an example of Joseph. Joseph, when Potiphar's wife came in, tried to make him have some immoral practices going on. He stayed the course that God had set before him. When she tried to come on to him, we said he did only thing that he knew how to do. He ran. Well, that's all right to run sometime in order to stay the course that God had given us. The Hebrew boys that was in the fire furnace, they stayed the course. They wouldn't bow down. They refused to bow to the music. They continued. They told him, you do what you wanted to us, but we made up our mind and know that we serve a mighty God. And even if he failed to deliver us, we know that he is able. Daniel in the lion den. Daniel refused to follow, and he charted the course and stayed the course that God had given him. They threw him in a lion den, and you saw how God protected him in the lion den. The lions became a pillar for him. We must stay the course that God has given us. To be faithful means to endure hardship. To be faithful means to endure trials and tribulation. To faithful means to be certain even in the face of death. Like Stephen, the good deacon, he stayed the course and they stoned him to death. I wonder today whether you are faithful or not, and whether you will remain faithful unto death. Being faithful unto death now also implies and get an implication for God's people. It means now for Christians to live a true profession unto God. It means for us to hold on to our belief. Be ye doers of God's word and not just hearers only. So many of us are just hearers of God's word and we're not doers of it. Now it's the time, 2020 with the virus going on. It's a time for us to examine ourselves to see whether we are standing in the faith or not. Whether we are walking in the faith or not. Paul said, for not to be hearers of the law only, but we must be just unto God. Not just hearers. I've known people been in the church a mighty long time and seen that they are only hearers of God's word. They are only church folks and not folks of the church. God will not now overlook the faithful ones. He will not overlook his people that is willing to stand in the faith of danger. Here I am. It is one of the most tough times in my 4 decades of preaching God's word, where we have to stand off. I never thought I would see the time where we couldn't come to church, no more than 10 congregate together. I thought this was third world practices, but here it is now in the United States that they sent a decree out over that churches must close their doors. But I'm glad the building is only the assembling place and the church is you and I, is in our heart. It's left up to you and I to demonstrate how powerful God is and how God can take what is meant for the evil and turn it around and mean it for good. Let me give you an example. When the children of Israel was roaming out there in the wilderness, and they had rebelled against God, and God had got sick and tired of them rebelling against him, he allowed serpents to come. And these serpents began to bite the young, the old, the millie, and babies. These serpents was killing them. Each time they were snake bitten, they died. Like this virus, most of us, that immune system is low. If the virus attack us, death then pretty soon overtake us. You know what God did? God used them to go to Moses, the man of God, and asked the man of God to go to God in prayer and ask God to forgive them of their sins. God, having a repentant heart, forgave them and told Moses to make a bronze serpent and put it up on a pole, and everyone that look unto it, they will be healed from the snake bite. He took the very thing that were causing their life and used it for them to look unto. That is to show us that God has power over whatever is taking our lives. God has power over this virus. Just like when Peter was out on the sea and the water and the wind got contrary, and they went out and they woke up Jesus from the lower deck and said, "Care us not if we perish." And he walked out there on the end of the ship and he said, "Peace, be still." And when he said, "Peace, be still," the wind ceased to blow. The billows, the waves, they laid down and calmed themselves. Here I am this afternoon asking you to be faithful unto death. There are many things may come our way. There are many things may come across our path. Before we leave this world, there may be many things that will upset our lives. But what we ought to do is to stay faithful unto death. Stay faithful because God will provide. God is the one that created us. He is the one that came down through 4 and 2 generations. He is the one that hung on the cross for you and I to have a right to the tree of life. He is the one that will take care of us because they buried him, but in 3 days he rose up from the dead. Rose up from the dead. We're coming up the rough side of the mountain, trying to get home. The rough side, trying to get home. This is Reverend Fraley coming to you by way of YouTube. It is my responsibility to hold the church together in trying times. I come to you with this brief message today, asking you to be faithful even in the midst of the storm, because there's blessing in the storm. Please, ma'am, and please, sir, don't give up. We bid you to continue to support your church, Vaughn Chapel, by way of YouTube and Zoom. We'll continue to deliver messages that you might hear them in the comfort of your home. We ask that you continue to support Vaughn Chapel Missionary Baptist Church by way of finance. Her ministry must go on. Please, ma'am, and please, sir, family, friend, members, if you desire for us to come pick up your offering, we will do so. If you want to mail it, which we call snail mail, please do so. Please, ma'am, as we continue to deliver such messages to you, we ask that you continue to support your church. May God bless you and have a smile upon you. Now enjoy the music and the comfort of your home. Be not dismayed. Because God will. God will. God will. He'll take care of you. God will. Take care. Take care. Take care of you. Yes, He will. I know it. I tried it for myself. All you have to do is continue to trust Him. Take care of you. I want you to know that. He will. He will. Our Father in heaven, we come now and we say thank you. We thank you for allowing us to meet here and assemble here at this place with your host today. We come, oh God, asking a special blessing upon this land and this country. We ask you, oh God, to protect us from all hurt, harm, and danger. Those who Heavenly Father, the families who have been attacked with this virus that has spread across the land. Seem as though we're living in the last time. But God, you had to find some way to bring us down and make us turn to thee. Heavenly Father, we are not complaining and we will not complain. Because all of us had some good days and some bad days. But our good days do outweigh our bad days. We pray, oh God, for those that are in convalescent homes. We pray, oh God, for those that are home ill and cannot get out. We pray for our senior citizens, oh God, who desire to come and to do more, but because of age, only back when I allow you. We pray, oh God, for those that are so mean and cruel and will not come, that they too will have a change of heart and look unto thee. We pray for our city Millersville and Vaughn County, that you continue to protect us and that we lose not any but any more to this virus. In God, the least, protect my family. Protect me, God, as I carry out my responsibilities and my duties. Stand in the midst of day, lifting up and praising your name. knowing that you will take care of us. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.